Hey guys, this is Jeff Newton. I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I've done once already in the past, but on my pages, I've been getting some people who have been saying, "Hey, listen, Minneapolis. The only reason anybody cares is because they're white people who were killed, and you've forgotten about the rest of us who might have been involved in these situations that aren't white people." And I was thinking hard about that for the last couple of days, and I thought, what can I do to rectify? I can't talk to every family. I don't have the time to do that, but we can mention them and tell you all a little bit about them so that they're not forgotten. You can share this far and wide, share it with your friends. And I'm gonna do something tonight. Actually, I'm not gonna be sharing this till Thursday, but I'm doing it tonight because I'm up here at the writer's cabin. And there's a piece in The Guardian, came out today actually. Melissa Hellman. Melissa Hellman's a Guardian reporter, and she did a really great piece. 8 people have died in dealings with ICE so far in 2026. These are their stories. And I'm just gonna rip it straight from her and give her credit for it so that we can remember these people. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. It's going to take a few minutes. These are all deaths at the hands of ICE in 2026 so far. It's 8 so far. And I'm just going to go down the list. Luis Gustavo Nunez Gutierrez. And I hope I don't butcher these names, but yeah, January 5th, Luis, 42-year-old immigrant from Honduras, died in ICE custody at the Houston Healthcare in Conroe, Texas. He'd been admitted into the Houston hospital after a heart-related condition, according to ICE. Nunez was first arrested by ICE agents during an operation in Houston on November 17th. Eventually transported to the Joe Corley Processing Center in Conroe. On New Year's Eve, ICE said he suffered multiple life-threatening medical emergencies. And HCA medical personnel, remember, he's 42 years old. Multiple life-threatening emergencies. 42 years old. Where they had to move him to the intensive care unit where he remained until he died. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, in a statement to The Guardian: "We've maintained the highest standard of care that most prisons that hold U.S. citizens, including providing access to proper medical care." That's a good one, eh? He fucking died in their proper medical care. For many immigrants, DHS said, quote, "This is the best health care they've received in their entire lives." Isn't that great? Best health care they've seen in their entire lives. He's dead, though, at 42. I wonder if he was a rapist or a murderer or a bank robber. It doesn't really say anything about that. DHS didn't have anything to say about that, neither did ICE. His family said he was a brother. He was full of hope and life, always fighting for the well-being of our family. They had a GoFundMe page requesting assistance to bring their brother's body home. Sadly, his life was cut short due to the lack of adequate medical care while he was in ICE custody. That's what his family thinks about the whole great medical care. Geraldo Nunez Campos, January 3rd. While in ICE custody, a Cuban immigrant died of homicide, according to a recent autopsy report. Geraldo, 55-year-old father of 4, died at the ICE facility in Camp East, Montana, El Paso, Texas. January 9th statement from ICE said, Nunez became disruptive while in line for medication and refused to return to his assigned dorm. Subsequently, he was placed in segregation. Medical personnel were called for assistance when they noticed him in distress. Just somebody's in segregation and he suddenly goes in distress? These are interesting comments. Federal government later claimed his staff had been trying to save Nunez as he attempted suicide. Wonder why he was suicidal. Wonder why he was suicidal. Being in ICE custody, maybe? I don't know. I got a picture of him in The Guardian under Melissa Hellman's story. Here he is. That's him and his family. Let's remember him. Okay? Victor Manuel Diaz, 36-year-old Nicaraguan immigrant. Victor Manuel Diaz also died at Camp East, Montana and El Paso, Texas. Boy. January 14th. In a statement following his death, ICE said that security staff found him unconscious and unresponsive in his room. ICE said that Diaz's death was presumed suicide, but that his death remained under investigation. Wonder what they have discovered in the last couple weeks about that death. His brother, quote, "I don't believe he took his life. He was not a criminal. He was looking for a better life and wanted to help our mother." Paradi La, a Pennsylvania man. Paradi La died while in ICE custody at the Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on 9 January. The 45-year-old Cambodian immigrant was picked up near his Upper Darby home a few days before his death, his family told ABC Action News. In a statement, ICE said that La was found unresponsive at the Federal Detention Center in Philadelphia, where he was receiving treatment for drug withdrawal. All these people have been found unresponsive. Like, they just find them unresponsive every time? Are they not watching out for their safety at all while they're in custody? It's really peculiar. Honestly, it's the first time I'm reading all these stories. I just wanted to give Melissa Hellman some props, but this is really interesting. They're all unresponsive. They just find them unresponsive, either committing suicide or this guy was having drug withdrawal. So if you're having drug withdrawal, you'd think that with the best medical care ICE thinks that any of them have ever had, they might get drugs to help them withdraw. Fuck. He was given Narcan and then taken to the hospital and diagnosed with organ failure, among other conditions. Wonder what those among other conditions were. Organ failure seems pretty bad. Seems like, I mean, this just stinks, right? They're not taking care of these people. His family was notified on January 8th. And visited him at the hospital after they spent several days searching for him. His daughter, Jasmine La, said her father, quote, was a real person and people loved him. We know Renee Good's story, right? Fatally shot by federal agent in her car, 7 January. 37-year-old mother of 3. Was a poet and writer who'd moved to Minneapolis from Kansas City, Missouri last year. This is the other one where they said she was an act of domestic terrorism. She had studied creative writing at Old Dominion University in Virginia, state that I live in right now, where she won an Academy of American Poets Prize in 2020. I've never known a domestic terrorist or a terrorist in general who was a poet. It's first for everything, right? Poets out here becoming terrorists. Luis Beltran Yanez Cruz. I'm sure I'm butchering the name with all these accents and fuck. I'm so sorry, Luis. On January 6th, Honduran immigrant Luis Beltran Yanez Cruz died at the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital in Indio, California, from heart-related issues, according to ICE. The father of 3 initially entered the U.S. in 1993, according to ICE, was removed from the country and re-entered at least 20 years ago. ICE arrested him in Newark, New Jersey in November 2025. So 2 months later, he died of heart-related issues. If you're giving them great medical care like you keep saying you are, how the fuck is he dying of heart-related issues? How the fuck is he dying of heart-related issues if you're giving him his medication? Is it a new thing? I don't know. I haven't looked into this at fucking all. But as a reporter with a lot of experience, if somebody dies in your custody after 2 months and they had heart-related issues, why the fuck were you not treating them for that? You fucks. His daughter, Jocelyn Yanez, told News Channel 3 that his heart-related... his heart-related issues began after he was detained. My soul was destroyed, she said, because I really hoped my father would leave this place, but not in this way. Heber Sanchez Dominguez, Heber Sanchez Dominguez, 34-year-old from Mexico, died at the Robert A. Dayton Detention Center in Lovejoy, Georgia on 14 January. In a statement, ICE said, "Here we go again, found unresponsive, and that his death was under investigation." Man, it sure seems like when you fucking get in one of these facilities, you have a pretty good chance of dying and nobody fucking noticing. What caring love we have for our fucking fellow man. That every time we find them are unresponsive. Not when they're in distress and they can fucking get help, but when they're unresponsive, unconscious, dead or ready to die. But that's the best medical care, they say, that most of these people have ever fucking had. Man, this is infuriating. In a statement, ICE said he was found unresponsive and his death was under investigation after being arrested in Georgia on 7 January for driving without a license. Doesn't sound like a murder to me. He was transferred to the Lovejoy Detention Center as he awaited removal proceedings. Didn't say he was a fucking vicious criminal or a murderer or a rapist or a grapist or an armed robber or the worst of the criminals. I don't know. Maybe he was, but they certainly didn't release that to these people when they were doing the story. I'm sure they would have if he had been. ICE said the detention center staff found him hanging by his neck and transferred him to Piedmont Medical Center, where he's pronounced dead. That's why he was unresponsive. He was hanging by his neck. A lot of people found unresponsive. The Mexican consulate in Atlanta told CBS News, not my favorite network right now, that Mexican officials have asked for the circumstances of the incident to be clarified. A lot of unresponsive people. It does not surprise me if people are trying to kill themselves when they're in ICE custody. The conditions are supposed to be horrendous. And when they let you in to see it, the very few times they've allowed people to go in to see it, they are horrendous. People packed in cages. Hanging from their neck? When, what? Unresponsive? Nobody's seeing these people hang themselves until after they're hanged? Alex Preddy. Number 8. Intensive care unit nurse for Veterans Affairs Hospital was fatally shot by federal agents during an anti-ICE protest. That's what this is report is saying, but I don't know if it's clear that it was an anti-ICE protest. I remember it being he was there observing an ICE mission. 37-year-old Minneapolis resident was trying to help a woman who had been pushed to the ground by ICE agents. We saw that. And when he was tackled, beaten, restrained, and then shot to death. That's accurate. So there it is. 14 minutes. They deserve more than that. And I hope, when I see these things sometimes on my page, I can look at how long people watch it. Some people watch it 3, 4, 5 minutes. Some people watch it all the way through. This one you need to watch all the way through. 8 examples. It's a couple minutes each person. Less than 2 minutes per person to remember their lives. You're right. Everybody who's making these comments, they're not all white. Some of them were brown. And they deserve the same memory that we're giving these folks in Minneapolis. You know? And there's others from 2025, like 30 of them. And a man who was shot in Los Angeles when he was on New Year's Eve. He was firing his gun up in the air. I don't know what it was all about. Gentleman was firing his gun in the air. And I don't know if he was being aggressive or celebrating the New Year's, but he was shot by an off-duty ICE agent. Well, why is an off-duty ICE agent going to the scene of this? Why aren't the police being sent? An off-duty ICE agent is not a police officer. Follow us on Substack at From the Writer's Cabin. We're also on From the Writer's Cabin on Facebook, and my personal account, Jeff Newton, is on Facebook as well. We're across other media platforms, but these are the ones we're on the most right now. Like, follow, and share. Thanks, Misfits. Spread the word.